you want some pops, sir? Do you want some bangs? Yes, please. Some fuel in the Buell. An adolescent Rottweiler that's just had his tail cut off. Ride me dirty. This is finally the review of the Buell XB9, which is the most unique bike I've ever ridden. It is like nothing else. So what can I tell you about this bike? It's a 45-degree V-twin. It's got, I think, 95 horsepower or 92 horsepower and about 95 newton meters of torque. So it is very, very torquey. What makes it unique? Well, it is belt driven. So this is a Kevlar reinforced belt. Quite a big chain wheel on there, to be fair. Helping, of course, to make it really, really torquey. It's bloody hell, I'm out of breath. This particular bike of Digi's, loads of carbon fibre. It's pretty dirty at the moment, however, because I've been travelling down from Bolton and I got caught in loads of rainstorms. What else can I tell you? So it has got a single brake disc on the front, which is a 375mm disc with 6-piston brake. And it's, like I say, it's only got disc on one side, which is unusual. It's I am out of breath, Jesus. Another couple of things that's unique about this bike, right? So the fuel is actually stored in the frame itself, and then the oil is stored in the swing arm. So underneath there, there's the oil cap there in the swing arm. So it's really, really strange, and to ride it is fun. There is so much character in this bike. I could own one of these. It's very, very loud. It pops and bangs quite a lot, actually, which is really, really fun. Everybody loves pops and bangs, right? So I've been trying to think of a way or an analogy or a metaphor of describing this bike, because it's so unique. And what comes to mind when I'm thinking about this bike is, imagine an adolescent Rottweiler that's just had his tail cut off with no anaesthetic. It would be angry, growly, it would want to rip your face off, and that's pretty much what this bike does. It's like, it's not the most powerful bike in the world, but the torque is fantastic. And it only revs to about 9,000 RPM. So you would expect the gearing to be really short, but it's actually not, to be fair. The gearing's quite long, and it's only got a 5-speed box as well. So it's really interesting, and riding it for the first time, you sort of have to pay attention to it. You have to be mindful of what you're doing, because if you're not careful, I think you could very, very easily find yourself in trouble on this bike for a number of reasons. One, because before you know it, you're well over the speed limit because of the amount of torque it's got, and because it tips in so much, it just wants you to weave in and out of that traffic really quickly, which, to be honest, I've been doing for most of the motorway journey down. The revs, when the revs build, so do the vibrations. And one thing I've noticed is, because I've been doing a couple of hours on the motorway on this bike, my fingertips are tingly. some people might say that's a bad thing, but to be honest, this isn't the kind of bike that you're going to tour on for hours and hours and hours. You know, you're not gonna do a European journey on a bike like this. This is a Sunday morning blast. This is a midweek, blow the cobwebs off, have a bit of excitement during the week. That's the kind of bike that this is. It's a move out of my way bike. I still need to catch my bloody breath. Why am I out of breath? Maybe it's because I'm getting old. Another thing I noticed about this bike is that when I'm changing gears up through the box, I have to use the clutch. Now, I don't normally do that on any bike that I've ever owned, or pretty much any bike I've ever ridden. I've never used the clutch going up the box. But because this bike is so torquey and the throttle is so snatchy, you have to use the clutch really, otherwise it's too jerky as you change gear. So that's not a bad thing at all. It's just a characteristic of this bike. Now, I'm not sure how much of that engine note that you can hear, but so I just changed gear without the clutch, and it jerks as you change gear. So yeah, you're forced to use the clutch. I'll tell you what, I am bloody freezing now. I am cold. I should have dressed better for this journey. I should have dressed better. When I checked the weather forecast yesterday and this morning, I saw that there might have been a couple of rain showers, but I thought, that'll be fine. It'll be the odd rain shower here and there. So I'm basically in my jeans and my textile jacket. I have got base layers underneath, but you know, once you're wet, you're wet. And then when you get cold, because I've just stopped for 10 minutes, it's hard to get warm again. But one thing I am glad of is I'm glad that I bought my waterproof gloves, which, to be honest, I wasn't gonna, but I changed my mind at last minute. It is so much fun. You just want to twist that throttle back. You want to get this beefy V-twin engine thumping, and it is so addictive. The brakes are fantastic, by the way, even in the wet. So coming down in the motorway and then on some of the back roads when I got off the motorway, when the roads were soaking wet, never once did I lose any confidence in the brakes. It wants you to ride it like a supermoto. You know, imagine a supermoto stance, so the bars are quite high and wide and your elbows are up in the air and you're quite forward over the tank, and it wants you to stick your leg out like a supermoto and then throw it around the corners. I think that's, you know, riding it like that, it's probably at its happiest. So yeah, even though it's only got one brake disc, those that 6-pot caliper and the size of the disc itself, it really does bite really quickly. It's going to attract a lot of attention from its aggressive styling, its aggressive stance, and also, of course, from that beautiful, beautiful sound of that V-twin engine. Right, let's get some fuel in the Buell. So yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, 14-litre fuel tank, I think, but it doesn't drink it like a thirsty bloody a thirsty something something that's thirsty, a deranged thirsty person I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say now. Yeah, so do you know what? This is fun. This is so much fun. So unique, like the vibrations. Jesus Christ, this is really it's violent, I guess. That's the only word I can describe it, really. It's violent. I mean, look, I don't know if you can see the vibrations in my hand right now, but yeah, look at the lever vibrating. But yeah, it's like nothing else I've ever ridden. And the good thing about this as well, it's simple. It's just a simple analog V-twin bike. Like there's no technology, there's no rider aids, no traction control, nothing. And in comparison to yesterday, so yesterday I test rode the Svartpilen 801, which was a really nice bike, really smooth, but again, loads of technology, and yet compared to this Buell, the Svartpilen had no character. This is full of character. I'm not saying that the Svartpilen was boring to ride, because it wasn't, but compared to this, yeah, just no character at all. This is bags of character. This is a giant character on wheels. It's almost like it's a caricature. That's what it is. It's a caricature of a naked bike. She sounds absolutely amazing. You know, as it changes down, I can imagine that if you're not careful, then you're too aggressive on the down changes, the back wheel would start slipping all over the place. Oh, those pops and bangs. I don't want this ride to end. I'll actually be gutted to get home. I mean, I'll be glad to get home and I can get dry, because my jeans are damp, my crotch is damp. Yeah, I'll be glad to get home and get dry, but I don't want to get off this bike. Digi, if you're watching this, mate, which I'm sure you will be watching this at some point, I fucking love this. I love this. And yeah, just thank you for this opportunity. It's been awesome. But yeah, hopefully you won't mind if I take it for a spin during the week as well. So yeah, the reason I'm picking this up, folks, is because Maria, who's flying in from Denmark on Friday, she's borrowing this bike to travel to Donington for the bike meet next week. So yeah, Maria, if you're watching this, you are going to fucking love it. Oh, that way that torque just builds really, really aggressively. So yeah, so basically, Buell, for those that might not know, it used to be like a subsidiary of Harley-Davidson. Is that the right word? Subsidiary? Like a partner, a separate division of Harley-Davidson. And then I think that they got into like some financial trouble. Don't quote me on this because I could be wrong. But I think Buell got into some financial trouble, and for quite a few years they folded. But I think they're making a comeback, and yeah, I think they're like re-released some of their models, but I'll have to do a little bit more research. Apologies actually, because I should have done a bit more research before making this video, and then I could have give you a bit more useful, accurate information. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you know, you're all adults anyway, you can all search the internet as well. But yeah, they're making a comeback, the Buells. Funny, actually, while I was at the petrol station there, and the camera wasn't on at the time, there was a guy that got out of his car. He walked past and he sort of nodded and said, "Oh, you don't see any of those around anymore." And I don't think they were all that popular in the UK, to be honest. I think they were more popular in Europe and of course the United States, which is where they come from. So I don't know if like if you owned one of these, I don't know how easy it would be to get parts, and I don't know what kind of dealer network is available in the UK. That might be interesting. Maybe if I take this out for another ride during the week, maybe I'll do a bit of research and I'll be able to give you some better, more accurate information. But there is definitely a little bit of Harley Davidson feel to this, because it is quite agricultural. You know, it's not quite like a tractor. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but it's meaty, it's thumpy, you know, and like I say, loads of vibrations, so it's quite agricultural. It's just a raw bike. It's, I don't know if you remember or if you saw the video a few episodes ago. I spoke about the fact that bikes used to be nothing more than a combustion engine, a set of wheels and a drivetrain. And nowadays it's all technology and quick shifters and electronic suspension and traction control. But this is a classic example of what a bike used to be, in my opinion at least. You know, I mean, it's not an inline four. It's not a parallel twin, and there's loads of parallel twins around nowadays. It's a proper, the feel of it is like a proper V-twin, a traditional V-twin, but wrapped up in a very sort of semi-sporty, stumpy frame, and this is exactly what you get. Do you know where you're going? So yeah, this it's a little Rottweiler. That's exactly what it is. Like I was saying earlier, it's a Rottweiler, and it's fun and it's playful, but it will bite your balls off if you're not careful. I don't think this would be very forgiving. Yeah. So see, that was an aggressive down change, and the back end was all squirrely. Now, for me personally, I think that adds to the excitement. But if you jump on a bike like this and you're not expecting that, or you're not used to that, it might catch you out a little bit, and it might put the shitters up you. Oh god, this is just so much fucking fun. Do you know what? I fucking love my bike. I really do. But this is a different kind of fun. And I don't think I've had this much fun of this kind since riding an off-road bike, you know. This is what this reminds me of, and that's why I said earlier that I think this really wants to be ridden like a supermoto. It wants you to get your elbows up and get over the tank, and then almost like counterbalance rather than lean into the corner. I think it wants you to counterbalance and stick your leg out. It wouldn't be unusual, I think, or it wouldn't be wrong to ride this bike like that. And if you put some sticky tyres on this and you get onto a small tight track, I think you'll have smiles for miles. I mean, you can stick your knee out, you can ride it like a traditional sort of sports naked style, but it's just at home in a supermoto style thrashing. And these roads are the kind of roads that this bike wants to live on. It's really hard to articulate how different this bike is, and I hope, you know, the way I'm describing this, I hope it gives you some sense of what this really is and what it really feels like. Every single vibration I can feel through my feet and my legs and my ass and my hands. If this bike was sat in your garage, then you would open your garage, you would look at the bike, and you just know that the bike is looking back at you, whispering, "Come on, ride me dirty." You just want to work the gearbox all the time because you want to hear the engine change note. You want to build the revs, you want to aggressively down change to hear those pops and bangs. It's like never a dull moment. The short wheelbase allows it to tip in quickly, but the wide bars means that you can then be in control of how quickly that line choice around the corner progresses or changes, you know. So it makes you feel like you're in control. That's what I'm trying to say. It gives you a nice helping hand at the start. It's like the bike sort of says to you, "Oh, you want to turn? Let me give you a hand," and it throws the bike in initially, but then it says to you, "Right, I've helped you, now you're in control." Yeah, like that was probably another really bad way of explaining what I was trying to explain. Pops, pops, pops and bangs. Pops and bangs. Do you want some pops, sir? Do you want some bangs? Yes, please. There you go. Suit you, sir. What a fantastic day, even though I got bloody soaking wet, but that's okay, that's fine. That is bike life sometimes, right? And of course I will give this a bit of a clean. I will do that, because I mean I would feel better if when Maria jumps on this on Friday that it is nice and clean. I would feel better. So yeah, I will give it a clean in the week when I get a chance. Anyway, I thought I'll pull over and I would talk to you in a nice calm environment. Like, what a beautiful evening. So yeah, in summary, how would I describe this bike? Well, first of all, it is different. I mean, that's the first word that comes to mind. And you know, even before I arrived in Bolton today, I knew it was going to be different because it's a very short wheelbase, very stumpy, very aggressive V-twin, and I don't think there's many of those around anymore. And because it's got, like I say, that Harley Davidson character from the engine, quite agricultural, but yet it's in a sort of sporty naked bike frame, it's gonna be unique, right? So I knew it was going to be different. I knew it was going to be interesting and fun, but I didn't know it was going to be this fun. So I would describe this as the one relative that everybody's got, right? The relative that is, let's say it's a crazy cousin that is fantastic on a night out. This relative, you will be laughing your arse off all night. You'll be drunk. You'll be end up doing crazy things, probably regretting some of those things the next morning, but you'll look back and you'll say, fantastic, that was such a good laugh. But that same relative will slap you in the face if you're not careful and if you say the wrong thing. And I think that sums up this bike. You can have so much fun, but if you take the piss, it will bite you in the ass. The amount of torque, you know, if you apply that a little bit too much in the wrong place, and you could say that for any bike, but this, it sort of stands out, I think. You apply that in the wrong place and it'll spit you off. I don't think it's very forgiving. I think that it is like, just to sort of talk about some of those characteristics, right? So it's light, it's nimble, and as I said in the video, it tips in really easily, but then you have to work it around the corners, and it's really hard to describe that, because it's quite what do you call it, it's a contradiction, you know. A bike that tips in really easy you should be able to throw it around the corners no problem, and you can throw it around the corners, but once it's in the corner, you have to consciously work at it, which gives you that feeling of control, you know. So it's not a negative thing. The seating position, like I described, probably mentioned it a couple of times now, you know, you are aggressively over the front end, and that's why it felt like, you know, you were riding something that should be on a supermoto track. Yeah, it's just awesome, absolutely awesome. And I like all the dark colours. It's all blacked out. It looks dirty and aggressive, you know. I mean, it is a bit dirty actually because of the weather, but you know what I mean. And the carbon fibre bodywork is just stunning. I really, really like it. So it's simple, it's analog, it's a good old-fashioned V-twin. It is bags of fun. You probably wouldn't want to live for hours and hours on the motorway with it, because that's not what it's built for, and the vibrations a bit too much. But I've loved it. I've loved every minute of it, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching this episode. And like I said, I will try and get out in the week again and see if anything else comes to mind that I can add to this. But for now, folks, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Under the Helmet. Very, very different. Hope it's been interesting, hope it's been fun, and stay safe.